Hey guys, it's Warren. Welcome back to my channel. It has been quite a while since I've uploaded a video. You might have seen my Marry Kiss Kill tag that I uploaded the other day, but I had already pre-recorded that back in May, so this is actually the first time in a while that I've sat in front of the camera and uploaded a video for you guys. So let's talk about the two elephants in the room. Obviously, I am in front of a different background right now. I'm trying this out, and this is a little experiment that I want to see if I like it. I'm trying to see if this will be a little bit more convenient for me to set up and film, because filming in front of my bookshelves, although it's great that I get to show off my books, there's very little space between my bed and my bookshelves, which are right here. So I don't really have a depth of field to work with. So this, I'm hoping, will give me a little bit of a depth of field. As you can see, this is kind of far back. And when I'm making thumbnails, I also have a hard time with the words, because putting white words on a screen with my books in the background, which have the ring light reflecting off of them, just makes it really hard to see. And I feel like they kind of get lost in the background. And I also feel like I'm sometimes blended into the background. So I'm hoping to fix that with this. This is a little bit more of a casual setup. It's a little bit more cozy. Let me know what you all think in the comments down below. I'm gonna film a couple videos with this background and just see if I like it. If this video turns out to be crap and I just hate it, then I'll probably go back to filming in front of my bookshelf just for convenience sake. And the second elephant in the room is obviously I have grown out my beard a little bit. I don't really know what I think about this right now. I kind of like it. Let me know if you guys like it in the comments, and I will consider either keeping it or shaving it. I'm not really sure yet. So the reason I haven't uploaded in a while is because June has been pretty crazy for me. I started the month off by going to Dallas, Texas for a week to do some videography work out there, and then I came back and started taking summer classes at a local college to get some extra credit. But now everything's starting to get into a routine, so I feel like I can start focusing on my YouTube channel a little bit now. So that is a little life update for you guys, and for today's video, I'm going to be talking about the books that I have recently read. I've pretty much stopped doing TBRs and wrap-ups because they've gotten to be really redundant. If I don't read very many books during the month, then I don't really have a lot to talk about in a wrap-up video. So until I can get into a routine where I'm reading tons of books a month, I'm just going to stick to doing a recently reads video or a currently reading video. So the first book that I read recently was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This book has been so hyped this year. Everyone has been talking about it and reading it, and a lot of people have liked this book. It's about a girl named Jude who is a human living in a fairy realm. She was taken as a child with her twin sister to the realm of the Fae, and she is often bullied because she is a human living amongst the Fae. The Fae think they are just better than her and that they are more powerful, and they are, so that makes them arrogant. So this book is about Jude trying to fit in the fairy world as a human, and the love interest is actually the title character, who is the Cruel Prince. He is Prince Carden, who is one of the many Fae princes of the realm. He sort of picks on Jude and bullies her. One of the strongest aspects of this book was definitely the world building. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I did have a few problems with it. Mainly, I felt a little misled by the plot synopsis and the title character of this book, because I was expecting this to be kind of similar to A Court of Thorns and Roses, where you have a cruel prince who is ruling over his kingdom, but he's attractive, and so the main character doesn't really like him at first, but grows to love him, and then there's some big political drama at the end that they have to deal with. And there is some of that in this book, but the Cruel Prince felt more like a schoolyard bully. He wasn't really a prince, he was just sort of an asshole. They try to make him the love interest, but he didn't really feel like a strong character. We don't really know much about the rest of Jude's family. They're in the story a little bit, but they're just kind of in the background and they don't really have any character development. So I don't think this book was worth the hype. It's definitely a cover buy because this cover is very pretty. The name, The Cruel Prince, is very enticing. I mean, obviously this book's great for Instagram pictures, and if you take the dust jacket off, you've got this in the front here, which is this cool design. But personally, I just did not enjoy it as much as other people. The next 2 books are part of a series that I am just loving right now, and that is the Illuminae Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I recently read Gemini, which is the 2nd book in the series, and Obsidio, which is the 3rd and final book in the series. I love this series. It was so good. These 2 books were fantastic. I was hooked on every single page of both of these novels. There are some minor spoilers for Illuminae, so if you haven't read the first book, you might want to just skip ahead till I'm done talking about this series. So Gemini is the 2nd book, and it follows 2 new characters. We have Hannah Donnelly and Nick Malakov, and they're living on board Jump Station Heimdall, which is sort of like the Grand Central Station wormhole of the galaxy, where everybody comes through to get to other star systems. And it is also the jump station that Ezra Mason and Katie Grant on the Hypatia are trying to get to try and get help and tell the galaxy what happened with Bitek on their homeworld of Corinza. There's a lot going on in this book, and I honestly don't know which book I like better, Illuminae or Gemini. It continues with this mixed media format of conversations and chat logs and surveillance footage. And the two new characters are on board Jump Station Heimdall when it is attacked by Bitech soldiers who are trying to take over the station and stop the Hypatia from getting a message through to the core systems. And then the next book, Obsidio. This is the third book in the series, and it is the conclusion. It is the epic convergence of all of the characters so far coming together to try and stop Bitech. And it also has two new characters. It has Asha Grant, who is Katie Grant's cousin, and Reese Lindstrom, who is Asha's ex-boyfriend and a Bitech soldier. So we follow these two new characters on the surface of Corinza after the Bitech assault from the first book. We get to see kind of what was happening on the planet while Katie and Ezra were in space on the Hypatia. This book was, again, just as thrilling and exciting as the first two. I just loved this series so much. It's sort of on the edge of YA because the characters are around 17 and 18. And of course, the months of April and May are always full of superhero movies. So I picked up a few comic books to get ready for the summer blockbusters. So I read Wonder Woman Volume 1, Blood. This is Wonder Woman from the New 52 series of DC Comics. Wonder Woman is one of my favorite heroes, and Justice League is not a good movie, but I like the comics with Justice League and Wonder Woman in it. This book deals a lot with Wonder Woman just sort of accepting her identity and making choices that affect her sisters on Themyscira. The artwork in this book is very colorful. Here's some of the pictures from it. And then of course, the biggest movie of this year, Infinity War, came out. So to get hyped up for the movie and to see if I could predict what would happen, I picked up Infinity Gauntlet, which is the story of Infinity War. This is the comic that it's loosely based off of. This is what the story is, and it still feels dramatic. The stakes are still high. You still feel kind of suspenseful, and you hate seeing all of your favorite Avengers die, but it was enjoyable, and it got me super excited for the movie. The next book I read after that was A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. This book has been stirring up a lot of controversy on BookTube lately. A lot of people hate this book. They just think that it's the worst. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because I did make a review for it, so if you want to watch my review for this book, you can check it out. I'll link it in the card up top. Basically, this is just a novella that takes place after the events of Akawar. I enjoyed this book. It was everything I wanted it to be. I didn't have high expectations for it because obviously I knew it was going to just be a filler novella. I wasn't expecting it to be like the next ACOTAR book. So what other people found problems with, I really didn't mind. I understand why people are disappointed in this book, but honestly, I enjoyed it because I am Sarah J. Maas trash. I just love all of her books. And the next book is also a Sarah J. Maas book, and that is Queen of Shadows, which is the fourth book in the Throne of Glass series. I have finally, after literally just months of procrastinating and saying I'm gonna read this book, I'm starting to catch up on the Throne of Glass series now. This book was amazing. What I really loved about this story is that it feels so much like it's its own story taking place in the rest of the universe of Throne of Glass. Aelin Galathynius has returned home to Ardalan, and she has to do a lot of fighting. She has to kind of clear her path to her victory and to her throne. But this book was thrilling. I was hooked on it. I read this book in record time too. It's like 680 pages, and I read this in like 3 days. I just devoured this book, and it was amazing. And of course, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I have no shame in admitting that I love Sarah J. Maas's series, and you can expect me to give all of her books high ratings. If that's something that bothers you, goodbye. I do factor in enjoyment. I do factor in plot development. I pay attention to those things as well, and there is so much mythology in it that is inspired from real European folklore, which I just love. In this book, you really have that like squad goals moment with Adian, Aelin, Rowan, Lysandra, and Kale. They work so well together, and I love the companionship between all of them. I just aspire to be Rowan Whitethorn in real life. He is like real life masculine goals. I just want to be him. I mean, the dude is shredded. He is so strong, and he's really good with a sword, obviously, and magic. So can I just be a Fae prince? And like, yeah, I just wish I could be Rowan and I could marry Aelin because she's amazing. And the last book, which is actually my current read, and that is Empire of Storms, which is the 5th book in the series following Queen of Shadows. You know I had to pick this up right after finishing Queen of Shadows. I'm only like a 5th of the way through it. I think I am on page 175. So I'm roughly 200 pages in, and everything is already a mess. Like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how I'm going to get through this book. Unfortunately, I started this right before I left for Dallas, and I had to put it down. So I'm just now picking it back up. I just can't wait to finish it. Everyone says this is the book that will crush you, and if you've read it, you're probably nodding your head like, oh yeah, that's exactly right. I'm a little bit nervous though, because I was sort of spoiled about the end of the book. I know what happens to Aelin, but I'm not exactly sure how it happens and what the context of it is. I just know literally what happens to her, and I was really pissed pissed off about that I got spoiled. I was so salty because this is my favorite series. But reading about all of the events like leading up to that and just seeing how everything falls into place is really interesting. I'm still on the edge of my seat and just like really excited for it. Okay, so those are all of the books that I have recently read from like March all the way to June. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's good to be back. Hope you guys like this new setup and of course my beard of wisdom. And if you like this idea of doing like a recently reads video every few months, please let me know as well. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I mentioned and what your thoughts are on them. If you have any videos you'd like to see from me, please also feel free to let me know. And of course, please give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're new here and you like my videos. All of my social media links are in the description below. I have Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Goodreads, so you can follow me on all of those as well. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!